hello, and welcome back to another episode of, or another segment of Rate the Leadership. I am your host, John Mays, and I am so glad to be with you guys today. Thank you so much for stopping back by my channel, and I pray that you all get value out of today's video. As you can tell, I am in a different location, so I'm getting better. So hubby has bought me some new equipment. I've got a microphone, a new camera. Of course, I'm downstairs now in my basement. He moved everything and transitioned me from my little cubby hole of a studio in the house. So we've got better lighting, we've got a better camera, we've got a better mic. Look at us. Anyway, I pray that you all get value out of today's video, and we are going to discuss, because there's a lot of hearing confirmations going on for Trump's cabinet picks. And so today we are actually going to rate Miss Tulsi Gabbard on how she handled the Senate hearings and the questions that she was given. But what we're going to rate is her opening statement. Based on Tulsi Gabbard's opening statement, I want to know, do you think she's going to be a fantastic leader, or do you think she's going to flop? Now, I think she's going to be an incredible leader, listening to her experience and all of that, but don't take my word for it. But before we get into this, I always like to go over the characteristics of a great leader. And yes, we are missing our lovely commandments. My husband, he's going to come and get them down here for us. But right now we've got to rate the leadership banner. Then we're going to put a frame, so it's going to look good. We're going to fix this up, honey. But we're going to get our commandments down here. Why? Because the commandments are the foundation. God's commandments, the 10, to the foundation of good leadership. So let's go over the characteristics of a good leader. 1, accountability, integrity, resilience, decision-making, confidence, awareness, communication. You can communicate effectively. Active listening. Man, that is a tough one for people to work on, because we always want to get our thought out. I've even had to work on that, so it's a good one. Communication, vision. These are the things we're looking for in Tulsi Gabbard's opening statement, okay? We're going to look for these key words to see, will she be a good leader? Courage, delegation, empowerment, respect, transparency, adaptability, influence, collaboration, honesty, humility, creativity, innovation, and great problem solving. And also, again, transparency, number 1. Are the people being honest and transparent with us? That's one thing I do know about the current administration, Trump. He will tell you the truth, whether you like it or not. So transparency is on the table. Let's see if Tulsi Gabbard's going to give that to us. So Tulsi is going to be, she's been nominated by Trump to be the Director of National Intelligence. And to do that, she's got to go through a lot of Senate hearings. And you know what? We're going to rate some of these Senate hearing questions, because some of them just don't make sense. Is it me, or do you believe that some of them just don't make sense? But we'll get into that. All right, right now we're going to get into Tulsi Gabbard's opening statement. I want you to look for these key words that we just went over for rating if the leader is going to be a good leader. These are the characteristics. You tell me, put it in the comments, thumbs up or thumbs down. Let's get into this. I am excited. Here we go. Oh, I got rid of it. Hold on, guys. Here we go. There she is. And let's get into it.
Fellow veterans, Medal of Honor recipients, and patriots, thank you for your love and support. I'm honored and grateful to President Trump for his trust and confidence in nominating me to serve our country as the Director of National Intelligence at a time when trust in the intelligence community, unfortunately, is at an all-time low. Chuck Schumer admitted a few years ago, quote, "You take on the intelligence community, they have 6 ways from Sunday at getting back at you." For too long, faulty, inadequate, or weaponized intelligence have led to costly failures and the undermining of our national security and God-given freedoms enshrined in the Constitution. The most obvious example of One of these failures is our invasion of Iraq based upon a total fabrication or complete failure of intelligence. This disastrous decision led to the deaths of tens of thousands of American soldiers and millions of people in the Middle East, mass migration, destabilization, and undermining of the security and stability of our European allies, the rise of ISIS, strengthening of al-Qaeda and other Islamist jihadist groups, and strengthening Iran. Here are just a few other examples. The American people elected Donald Trump as their president not once but twice, and yet the FBI and intelligence agencies were politicized by his opponents to undermine his presidency and falsely portray him as a puppet of Putin. Title I of FISA was used illegally to obtain a warrant to spy on Trump campaign advisor Carter Page, using a Clinton campaign-funded false dossier as their so-called evidence. Biden campaign advisor Tony Blinken was the impetus for the 51 former senior intelligence officials' letter dismissing Hunter Biden's laptop as disinformation specifically to help Biden win the election. Former DNI James Clapper lied to this committee in 2013, denying the existence of programs that facilitated the mass collection of millions of Americans' phone and internet records, yet was never.
Do you all hear all of this? I was just coming in for rating the opening statement to see if she's, going to be a good leader. But honey, she's giving us some information that I wasn't ready for. That's just let me get my coffee and this is too much. Let's get back, honey. Good grief, Tulsi. Hold on.
Held accountable. Under John Brennan's leadership, the CIA abused its power to spy on Congress, to dodge oversight, lied about doing it until he was caught, and yet has never been held responsible. Under Biden, the FBI abused its power for political reasons to try to surveil Catholics who attend traditional Latin Mass, labeling them as quote-unquote radical traditionalist Catholics. Personally, just 24 hours after I criticized Kamala Harris and her nomination, I was placed on a secret domestic terror watch list called Quiet Skies. Sadly, there are more examples. The bottom line is this must end. President Trump's reelection.
What is going on in the United States Senate and Congress? She was placed on what, did Kamala? Listen. I'm just here to rate the leadership, honey. But she has given us just a lot of tea. What is going on, Tulsi? Rate the leadership of the Biden administration, of the Biden hair. What? Anyway, let's get back into this.
Is a clear mandate from the American people to break this cycle of failure, end the weaponization and politicization of the intelligence community, and begin to spy on Congress, to dodge oversight, lied about doing it until he was caught, and yet has never been held responsible. Under Biden, the FBI abused its power for political reasons to try to surveil Catholics who attend traditional Latin Mass, labeling them as quote-unquote radical traditionalist Catholics. Personally, just 24 hours after I criticized Kamala Harris and her nomination, I was placed on a secret domestic terror watch list called Quiet Skies. Sadly, there are more examples. The bottom line is this must end. President Trump's reelection is a clear mandate from the American people to break this cycle of failure, end the weaponization and politicization of the intelligence community, and begin to restore trust in those who've been charged with the critical task of securing our nation. If confirmed as DNI, I will do my very best to fulfill this mandate and bring leadership to the intelligence community with a laser-like focus on our essential mission, ensuring the safety, security, and freedom of the American people. As the President's principal intelligence advisor, I'll begin by leading by example, checking my own personal views at the door, and committing to delivering intelligence that is collected, analyzed, and reported without bias, prejudice, or political influence. I enlisted in the Army because of the horrific terrorist attack on September 11th. and volunteered to deploy to Iraq in 2005, where I served in a medical unit. After nearly 22 years in uniform with 3 combat deployments to the Middle East and Africa, I'm now a lieutenant colonel in the U.S. Army Reserve, where I serve as a battalion commander of soldiers in Oklahoma, Missouri, and Arkansas. I served in Congress for 8 years on the Homeland Security, Foreign Affairs, and Armed Services committees. And it's my experience in the military and in the halls of Congress that have given me a deep understanding of the complex challenges that our nation faces, in both roles engaging with world leaders, in both roles being privy to highly classified intelligence. So I know firsthand how essential accurate, unbiased, and timely intelligence is to the President, to Congress, and to our warfighters. I also know the heavy cost of intelligence failures and abuses. Senator Collins, you led the creation of ODNI specifically to address those intelligence failures of 9/11 and Iraq's so-called WMDs. The need for the ODNI under strong leadership still exists today. If confirmed, I'll bring my experience and fresh eyes to leading the intelligence community. And my day one priorities will be to assess the global threat environment, identify where gaps in our intelligence exist, integrate intelligence elements, increase information sharing, and ensure that unbiased, apolitical, objective collection and analysis to support the President and policymakers' decision-making occur. I'll work to end the politicization of the intelligence community and ensure there is a clear mission focus in the IC on its core mission of this unbiased, apolitical collection and analysis of intelligence to secure our nation. I'll work to rebuild trust through transparency and accountability. This is a national security imperative. And I'll work to assess and address efficiencies, redundancies, and effectiveness across ODNI to ensure focus of personnel and resources is on our core mission of national security. Now, in my meetings that I've had with many of you, you expressed bipartisan frustration about recent intelligence failures, as well as the lack of responsiveness to your requests for information. Whether it's the surprise October 7th Hamas terrorist attack, to the sudden takeover of Syria by Islamist extremists, failures to identify the source of COVID, anomalous health incidents, UAPs, drones, and more. If confirmed, I look forward to working with you to address these issues. Ensuring the safety, security, and freedom of the American people is a mandate of leadership that rises above partisan politics. If confirmed, my commitment to the President, to you, and to the American people is this: I will do my very best to find the truth, no matter where it leads, and share that truth with President Trump, his advisors, and you in Congress, providing you with that unbiased, timely, and accurate intelligence as you make the tough decisions that'll impact the safety, security, and freedom of the American people. Now, before I close, I want to warn the American people who are watching at home. You may hear lies and smears in this hearing that'll challenge my loyalty to and my love for our country. Those who oppose my nomination imply that I am loyal to something or someone other than God, my own conscience, and the Constitution of the United States, accusing me of being Trump's puppet, Putin's puppet, Assad's puppet, a guru's puppet, Modi's puppet, not recognizing the absurdity of simultaneously being the puppet of 5 different puppet masters. The same tactic was used against President Trump and failed. The American people elected President Trump with a decisive victory and mandate for change. The fact is, what truly unsettles my political opponents is I refuse to be their puppet. I have no love for Assad or Gaddafi or any dictator. I just hate Al-Qaeda. I hate that we have leaders who cozy up to Islamist extremists, minimizing them to so-called rebels. As Jake Sullivan said to Hillary Clinton, quote, Al-Qaeda is on our side in Syria. Well, Syria is now controlled by an Al-Qaeda offshoot, HTS, led by an Islamist jihadist who danced in the streets on 9/11 and who was responsible for the killing of many American service members. Democrat senators in the past resorted to anti-Christian bigotry against some of President Trump's judicial nominees like Amy Coney Barrett and Brian Boucher. I condemn those actions as a Democrat in Congress at the time, as religious bigotry must be thoroughly condemned by all of us, no matter the religion. Unfortunately, there are some Democrat senators who still don't understand the principle of freedom of religion and Article 6 of the Constitution. Quote, no religious test shall ever be required as a qualification to any office or public trust under the United States. Unfortunately, they're once again using the religious bigotry card, but this time trying to foment religious bigotry against Hindus and Hinduism. If anyone is sincerely interested.
Listen, folks, I'm having some issues with the recording, but I'm going to stop it right here because she's almost finished anyway. I want to know, based on this opening statement, do you think Tulsi Gabbard, I want you to rate it, do you think she's going to be a great leader? Remember the words I heard her speak a lot of the words that we spoke about: accountability, transparency. Okay. She was talking about honesty and respect. I heard that she's very resilient. I heard confidence in her. I also heard that she's able to make great decisions. So she has decision-making abilities, collaboration, influence. I mean, I heard many of these key words just in her opening statement. But I don't want you guys to take my word for it. I want you to rate this on your own. So you put it in the comments. Do you think Tulsi Gabbard will be a great leader? That's what I want to know, your point of view. And then I'll see you on the next segment. Thank you so much for joining. All right.